Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Sander and Jes Valentine.
Hey, Kate. So someone in our Facebook group made a joke saying that you never finish books. So I'm just curious, have you finished any books lately?
So I believe the last Audible ad was talking about Blackout, and no, I haven't finished that one. I often don't finish books, but I don't feel bad because I'm just listening. I'm currently listening to a book on emotional childhood neglect called Running on Empty, and if you guys sign up to audibletrial.com/seltzer squad, you can get your first month for free and listen to books haphazardly like we do.
The best part about listening to a book on Audible is it's kind of like a podcast. You can drop it at any time and pick it up anytime. So definitely use our promo code and get your first month free.
Jess, what do people do if they want more Seltzer Squad?
Oh, well, it's pretty easy. All they have to do is become a Patreon.
Patreon? A patron? A Patronus?
A patron on our Patreon.
If you want to be a Princess FOMO, you'll get early access to our episodes every Wednesday instead of Friday. If you want to subscribe to our middle tier, Former Hot Mess, you will receive the bonus monthly audio episode and early access to episodes. And if you indeed are the slickest bitch around, you will get early access, monthly bonus episodes, and you will be able to see all of our episodes now in video format.
This is truly a labor of love, and we want to keep it going. So help support us at patreon.com/seltzer squad.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, Kate.
I want to talk about patience because I don't have any.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And maybe you have more than me, but I feel like...
Do I?
I think you do.
I don't think I do.
Maybe not.
I think you're giving me a lot of credit.
I feel like patience is something that you
patient.
have to have in sobriety, and I don't have any, and I've managed to stay sober. Okay, the definition of patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. I am exactly the opposite.
I like instant gratification.
Me too.
I don't like waiting for things. I don't like maybe it's like the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think if there's no deadline or end of project, whatever discussion or deadline, anything, then I get very uncomfortable. I think I might have told you the story about how I went on a hike with a friend of mine and she didn't know how long the hike was. And I in my mind was having a nervous breakdown. Yeah. Cause I was like, A, I'm out of shape. What if I have a medical emergency? B, what if we get lost? All the things were going through my mind. And I realized for me, it was very much, how do I deal with the unknown? I can't handle it. I spiral.
I think that, like you were saying, there's so many different,
there's different levels. Yeah.
Patience. I don't know. I think I want to say, I think I'm getting better. The longer sober I am, but I think that's a lie. I don't know.
I think you are. I think that you are so much better about slowing down before you make decisions. You still make them fast, but you think about them now, where before you'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I'm more patient rather than less rash. But I guess that's kind of the same thing, right? I just feel say, for example, in a fight, right, with my partner, in the past, I would just be not think about any sort of consequences, just rapid fire, being an asshole, saying the most hurtful things. And now I stop and I think, I'm okay, don't say that because that's going to be worse in the end. You know what I mean?
I think that gets easier in sobriety because you don't have the anxiety of a hangover, that you're constantly in this anxiety cycle. And when I was in that, it would make me be more irrational and quick to jump to conclusions because I had this low level anxiety constantly from being hungover. So I'm able to slow down in that respect because I'm just not hungover all the time.
Or that the ever-present anxiety that's little, but it's you never know if you're going to run into someone that says that you did something or you know what I mean? I don't know if you had that, but same. I was
always.
oh, did I
It's like a shame anxiety when you're hungover.
Shamxiety.
Yeah, shamxiety for sure. And so I think like the next day I would wake up from being hungover, I would want to immediately do all the things. Like I would order Seamless, I would get Gatorade, I would get aloe vera drink, I would get a Coca-Cola, I would get a banana, I would get an Uber to work. Like I would like rapid fire
bagel sandwich.
Rapid fire do all of the things as quickly as, because the discomfort and the shamxiety was so intolerable that I had to like immediately get control by doing all of these things, even though like I would just repeat that cycle later on in the day.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
But that just becomes your hungover routine. It's like you have your drunk routine, which is, even if your routine is just being a spaz and being unpredictable, that's still like your routine. So expect the unexpected.
And then in
right?
early sobriety, you have to be patient because you just have to get through the day, right? Like you have to, you're changing the behavior. So you're like, I just have to be patient, which feels like millions of years pass in every single minute. And then you have to reach a new level where you're like, I've been good, nothing good is happening to me. I have to still be sober and be patient for these, like all this good shit that everybody talks about to kick in. Only the good shit, it doesn't hit like a celebration. It hits like in these little tiny benchmarks.
I know. I like always, I've been patient for time. When I say time, I mean like if I'm 30 days sober, I want to be 90 days sober. If I've been in a relationship for 1 year, I want to have been in that relationship for 5 years. Like I'm always like, I can't wait till, I don't know why. It's like these, I don't know. It's weird. It's like, what difference is that going to make?
I have that anxiety, but it's so that I don't miss out on anything, like an opportunity or I do something for myself, or I like jumpstart something that I feel like if I don't utilize everything on the table at all times, I'm going to miss something, and then I'm going to feel bad about it and I don't have patience to stick with the things that I'm already doing often. I'm like, fine, I'm over that, and I like move on to the next thing, and I don't have the patience to like, again, stay through the discomfort of the current thing to get to something a little bit more enjoyable or more tolerable. I immediately want to like quit that, try something else, quit that, try something else. And so I'm always in this cycle of quitting and starting and quitting and starting. And I was in that cycle with like early sobriety for a long time, where you would like, remember we'd be like, we're doing a sober October, and we would make it like halfway through the month. And then
I know,
like, I don't miss that at all. Now I definitely, it's more emotional patience that I need to have and less like behavioral patience, where I don't, you know, I had to like wait out a craving to go to the bar, or to like my old habits would want to kick in and I would want to cope with alcohol. Now it's more like, I know that option is off the table. I don't have that craving anymore, but I still have that like want to do something to alleviate the discomfort. But I know now I have to just ride it out.
Like, do you also feel, I mean, this is probably a no-brainer, but more impatient for the things that you are out of your control? Like, for example, if it's something that you can just do, it's like, okay, whatever, I can just do that. But if you're like waiting on somebody else to do it for you, it's like, fucking get it done. And it's like, it really doesn't matter, right? It's like, I don't know. I just hate waiting on other people.
I am okay to wait. Like, again, like if they say I need a day, I need a week, like for example, with this house thing, right? Like we got a text saying June 7th, these people are going to show up and do this work so that we can close on the house. Then June 14th, then June 21st, then like it just kept. Then I would text like, are they coming? Do they have a new day? And it just turned into like, we don't have a day. It's just in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks would pass and another 2 weeks would pass. And then it would be another 2 weeks would pass. And so now I'm at the point where I feel disrespected because I'm like, you could have just told me, like, tell me it's going to be October 18th. Tell me it's going to be June 9th. Like, I don't know. Just tell me a day so that I can glean a little bit of control. Because again, for me, it's the control part. I feel out of control of the situation. And so, yeah, I mean, I think I have patience if somebody says like, hey, I'm not going to be able to get this to you for 2 days, or, you know, we can't do this for 3 months or whatever. Then I have like, okay, put that in my mind.
You can plan that for that. Yeah.
And I can control aspects of the uncontrollable. But as as soon as there's no like the hike was just like, so we're just going to fucking walk and I don't know when this is over and we don't know where the end is and we have nothing to look forward to, then I like, you know, that's why with this house situation, it's been like one big spiral because you're like, you don't want to get excited for 2 weeks anymore because you know it's not going to happen. And so
I know
it has kind of stolen the joy, but it's also taught me that ultimately I really have control over very little and I need to learn to live it, still be able to enjoy my life while being uncomfortable. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't have an answer, but I feel like I'm at least really forcing myself to go through those motions. Do you feel like you have forced yourself to do it?
Yeah, I guess. I like having something to look forward to aspect of just life in general, but I don't know. It's just also like very frustrating because it's like, I just want it here. But like you said, sometimes like there's nothing you can do. So you just like need to figure out a way to be in the moment until that happens and you cross that bridge or whatever it might be. I mean, it's hard to say because it's everything case by case, right?
Yeah.
Like with everything
I was
in life.
talking to Jody and I was like, old me would find a reason to get mad and motivated. Like anger motivates me. Being upset and feeling, you know, resentful or disrespected is harder to kind of self-motivate because I'm not grasping onto like anger to jumpstart action, where now I'm just like disappointed and I feel low and I have to somehow still self-motivate even though I know anger isn't a healthy coping mechanism. Like now I can't even summon that at this point. Like I know anger is not the answer. So then you just stay low. And I think I was telling her like it's hard for me to be motivated right now and do little things to take care of myself because this goalpost keeps moving and the deadlines, you know, this like joyous thing or whatever, this benchmark keeps moving. And so it's hard for me. Like, what's the point of brushing my teeth today? What's the point of eating healthy today? Like, because you don't have any like little time bookmarks around things. And so for me, that's been very difficult. Like, how do I exist and take care of myself and have like joy this weekend when, you know, we thought we were going to be in XYZ and we're not. And so it's that snowball. And I think that's the patience part. That's old me would want to be like shopping or, you know, distracting from the discomfort where,
eating,
you know, now it's like, I know none of those things ultimately work. So I just have to be patient. And it sucks because you feel like a bummer. Like I feel like I'm kind of just a bummer lately, but I also know that I have to feel that way all the way through in order to come out the other side of it. And so that's the hard part is, you know, like I was telling her, I feel like even having these mental issues is a waste of time, right? Like you have to workshop this constantly of like, why do I need to be patient? Why can't I just like wait like everybody else? Like, you know, even just like the depression takes up space and I kind of resent it because I'm like, I know I have to process this, but it's annoying because it takes time.
It's the worst.
So patience is a real fucking bitch.
I think it like comes back down to everything that we always say is you have to feel the feels, which sucks about sobriety.
And I'm not very good at still feeling the feelings. Like I'm very good at compartmentalizing, and I think maybe that's why I'm having a hard time still.
Hey, Kate, what is the number one sober tool that we always recommend?
Therapy.
And we have recently partnered with BetterHelp. Do you want to tell everyone what that's about?
So BetterHelp is an online mental health platform. Basically what it is, it's an app that you get access to therapists. So you take their short quiz, they match you with somebody in your area, and it's affordable private counseling for individuals and couples anytime, anywhere. You don't even have to leave your house. You don't even have to wear hard pants.
That is amazing.
And what are we giving our listeners?
10% off. Just go to betterhelp.com/Seltzer Squad. Hey, Kate, what's another way that the squad can help support the podcast?
In addition to just listening or signing up to our Patreon, y'all can shop our online merch store, which has a variety of different sober treats, from mugs to sweatshirts to tanks and tees.
Everything.
All of our signature sayings are all over our sober merch. So visit seltzersquadshop.com and check it out.
Treat yourself to something sober while supporting the pod.
Jess, are you listening to any good books?
Right now, I'm actually listening to an Audible exclusive podcast.
Ooh. I'm listening to Blackout by Sarah Hepola.
Oh, I listened to that one back in the day.
I mean, I'm a huge proponent of Audible. I love listening to Quit Lit or really any book. But did you know, Squad, that you can use our discount code to get a free month of Audible? Meaning you get a free book if you sign up.
That's right. Just go to audibletrial.com/Seltzer Squad and get a free month on us. I actually just signed up myself using it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm getting, it just sucks because like no one wants to feel the feels. But I feel like because we have to do that in sobriety, it prepares us or makes us more well equipped when we have to deal with that for other situations. Because like I feel like when it comes to sobriety, that's one of the hardest things, right? Like hands down. So I just feel like we have better tools in our toolbox and we're just more well equipped for dealing with the shit that life throws at you.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong or being, rose-colored glasses, but I think I truly feel that way. Or just like being in therapy. I feel like it's really easy to be able to tell who's not in therapy these days versus who is. It's like, oh, somebody must not be in therapy. Like it's so obvious sometimes, but I don't know.
That's very wise. Yeah, I think also sobriety like makes you have a self-awareness, right? Because you have to be aware of these cravings and these triggers and all of this crap, like therapy or not, you have to become aware of these things within yourself so that you can hopefully help yourself make healthier choices and cope in a healthier way. And patience is I didn't grow up in a very patient household. Like we were very like, especially with regards to time. So it's something that I'm trying to learn. It's just hard for me to be happy in that time. And I don't know if that's like a cultural thing because we're like, we're in this capitalist, like buy things to make you feel happy, like fix everything that's wrong with you all the time. There's something for everything. And I think it takes away from like these core things of us just like feeling it out and struggling and that being okay. And I just wish it felt more normal to not be okay sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't want to sound like a drag, right? Like even on here, like I think we both filter ourselves most of the time where we're like, oh, we don't want to be a fucking downer every episode. But it's like sobriety is not linear and neither is my mental health. Like it's not just a slow incline up. Sometimes there's, lows or plateaus.
I've noticed, I'm not on Instagram a whole lot these days. I'm mostly on my work page. And point is though, that there's at least 2 tattoo artists that I follow recently that have posted like, hey, I'm taking today off for a mental health day and like, or I'm leaving social media for a couple weeks and like, I'm not okay and it's okay to not be okay. And I was like, okay. Like, it's good that we're normalizing people talking about their feelings and mental health and not being okay and self-care and taking like real self-care, like actual self-care, not just like I'm taking a bath with a bath bomb, which is totally great. Sure. But like actually unplugging if that's what you need to do or whatever. It's just, I feel like in the past, old me would be like, okay, like why are you airing your dirty laundry? But you know what I mean? But that's just like the judgmental, dumb, untherapized, drunk version of myself, not the best version of myself. So it's kind of refreshing to see that. And you don't see it often. It's surprising that I have seen it 2 or 3 times in like the past month or 2. But we need to like normalize that. Like it's okay to not be okay. You're not going to be okay all the time. Like life is hard and it sucks and it's not easy.
One of our listeners, E, she always talks about having a bare minimum day, or not always, but she's like sometimes at work, she'll be like, I'm having a bare minimum day where you just do the absolute bare minimum to not get fired and like kind of take care of yourself. And I'm like, yeah, we need to have more bare minimum. Like I've been giving myself a little bit of grace where it's like, all the shoulds line up in your head. It's like, I don't really fucking feel like doing that. Like I know I should do this and I should do that and I should be working on this. And I'm like, but does it really matter? And like, am I really jazzed about that at this moment? No. So I'm just going to like chill instead. And you know, you have to get to, you know, a point with processing your emotions. For me, I just know that I have to be patient and wait it out. And it's the hardest because, again, there's no deadline on having bad days. Sometimes you could have 2 in a row. And like in early sobriety, you know, sometimes I had a bad year. Like there was been times where I had a fucking whole terrible year. And so that's okay too.
That's very true, man. There's no deadline on bad days.
What point in patience do you think you're at? Do you think there's other levels above the ones we're at? I wonder what they are.
Yeah, probably.
I know. We'll update you guys when we get there.
I think also, I feel like also as by nature, like the two of us are both by nature impatient people.
Yes.
So I feel like there's tons of work that we can still do to kind of help. I don't want to say fix that because I don't know if it's something that can be completely fixed, but just be better in those areas.
Yeah.
I think we've come a long way, but there's always room for improvement, right? So
yeah, in my psychology brain, it makes me think about us having poor impulse control, which leads me to understand the addiction aspect of things. And then like you want to pacify it yourself somehow, like pacify the time, pacify your feeling. And that's where the patience levels kind of come in. And I guess the more strong I am and the more time I have in sobriety, I guess the more patient I am. It's weird because do you experience patience in some areas and then boundaries / like assertiveness in others? Because some shit I'm not willing to take where before I was. Or I'm like, I have fucking no patience for like people peer pressuring me about alcohol. Like I have zero patience for that, where before I would put up with so much bullshit. And then I guess I have less bullshit patience and more, you know.
That's a very good point. Like I was just having a conversation with Cameron like a little bit ago, and we were talking about her drinking, and she didn't like that I just kind of. She said she didn't feel supported and whatever. She has some shit going on, and I was like, "Here's the thing. I support you 95% of the time. I'm here for you always. But if you're drinking, I don't have to support that. And I don't have to support you when you are drinking."
Yeah.
So, and she said, "I understand that." So it's true. Like I got up and walked away the other night because I was like, she was drinking. I'm like, I don't foresee this getting any better. Once someone kind of flips that switch and they're a little pissed off, it's really hard to come back from that when they're drinking, right? So basically everything that I was doing was wrong. Like I walked away, that was wrong. I was like chewing on this thing that was wrong, like just really stupid. But point is, like, I just was like, I don't have the patience for your bullshit, and I don't have to. Point is, I said to her, I came out of the bedroom and it was like 3 a.m. and she was still like drinking wine while watching TV. And I was pissed, obviously, because there's no need for that. And so I went in the bedroom, came back out, and I just said, "We're done. I don't want to be with you anymore." And then I walked back in the room, and she obviously was very upset by that. And I was like, "I love you, but I don't need to be around that." And she's like, "But I wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't doing anything. I was just like watching my show and like minding my own business." I'm like, "I don't need to be I don't need that in my life." And she's like, "But it's not in your life." I'm like, "No, but it is. You bring that in my life. And I don't need that. I don't need that." So there's definitely different, like you said, different types of patients. And I just want to like let people know that we record a bunch of episodes in the same day. So if you hear me bitching about my girlfriend in like 4 episodes in a row, it could very well be all one night that I'm talking about. I don't want them to think that I have like a super unhealthy relationship, but we do have our issues, and obviously drinking is one of them. But so it's like you said, sometimes maybe our bullshit patience translates to boundaries, which in the past it was just like whatever. So
maybe we need some additional Omar style boundaries where they're the ones that are the harder ones where we have to control, like, you know, I'm impatient right now about all these outstanding things. So then I'm going to play, my new thing is, side note, my new thing's the Oregon Trail on the iPad. So I'm going to play the Oregon Trail for 6 hours to pacify, you know, this boredom / uncomfortable feeling. And I need to like put a boundary on that so that I, you know, like it's the same sort of harmful cycle, right? Like,
I know.
But yeah, there's different.
And then there's like this, for example, and I'm going to try like not get too far into it, but long story short, I still had a New Jersey driver's license. I moved to New York. I needed to get a New York driver's license. However, when I went to do that, they were like, "Oh, we can't give you a New York license because there's a ticket on your New Jersey one." I'm like, "There shouldn't be." So, okay, I go back. There were no tickets. However, New Jersey neglected to like mark the ticket off as paid. So it never got in the system. Fine. Fast forward, it was COVID and all of the DMVs were closed. Okay, fine. This year, fast forward again. My dumbass put my wallet on top of my car when I was getting things out. Left it there, lost my wallet. This is a few months ago, like maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Walked away, lost my wallet. So obviously lost all my driver's license and shit. Yeah. So go to DMV. Now that they're open again, I'm like, hey, I need to get in New York. They're like, oh, well, we need your Jersey license because you have to trade it in. And I'm like, well, I don't have it. I have a photo of it because I thought they could just put the number in. They're like, the photo's not good. You need an actual. So then I had to like order a driver's abstract from the New Jersey DMV. Paid for that. Never came. Had to cancel my other DMV appointment because it never came because it has to have 30 days. Ordered again. Paid for it again. Never came. Had to cancel my appointment again. Ordered it again.
How'd you deal with this patience? You were very patient.
I emailed them. They said to call. I call. They said, leave a callback number. They never call me back. Go back on again. Email a different situation for like not receiving paperwork. Never heard back. Supposed to hear back within 3 days. Anyway, so then I get the driver's abstract that you can print. So I pay for that one. Bring that to the DMV. Yay, looks like I'm going forward. I did my makeup that day. They took my photo. They're like, moving on to the next. And then get to the counter. She's like, hang on, I have to get my supervisor. Once again, they can't take it. All of this because back in the fucking day, they neglected to mark my ticket as paid. And then they keep not sending me this thing. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I've been driving around with no license. I've been trying to make an appointment for the DMV, but in New Jersey, because I'm like, I'll just go to New Jersey and do it. But then sorry, I'm totally like off topic here. I'm just like really fucking pissed.
I very much relate to this because I had a very similar situation getting my motorcycle permit.
Oh yeah. I've spent so much time online at the DMV, emailing the DMV, paying the DMV. It's just like so fucking annoying. But the point is like, there's nothing I can do. Nope. It's out of my hands. Yep. So I'm trying to have patience within that. But it's like, I also like can't be driving around without a fucking license. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can reorder the New Jersey one, pretend like I lost it. But I did the right thing when I moved and I updated my address with the New Jersey system. Girl. Anyway, point is sometimes like shit just doesn't get done too.
It's the only thing about AA to me that I like. Well, I shouldn't say the only thing, but like the serenity prayer where it's like, I had to Google it, but it's accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Fuck. It's a real bitch.
I just keep putting it on my list of things to do when I'm off, and I just keep pushing. I'm like, I know that I don't have the bandwidth to like drive out to New Jersey to get
have a meltdown at the DMV.
Well, for them to be like, sorry, you need an appointment. It's like, well, every time I try to make an appointment online, this is I can't for what I need. And if it needs me to go to Bumblefuck, New Jersey. And I'm like, I can't drive like 4 fucking hours. Like,
Okay,
girl.
TDLR. I had the same, well, not as corrupt of an experience, but I had a major anxiety.
Corrupt.
So go to the one in Bayonne and just walk in and ask your question.
That's what I think I'm going to do because
Yes.
Bayonne's the easiest one that I've done. And they have a parking lot, which is nice.
And the lines are like very good now.
Okay. I think that's...
So I don't know how we get more patients. I guess we keep learning and keep paying Nance because she reminds us to be patient. I think the best part about therapy for me is that Nance is able to gain perspective on where I came from and where I'm going for me in a way that like I miss. I don't notice myself where she'll be like, you know, remember when you were feeling this way, blah, 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 7.5 months ago about X. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Like,
yeah, that's not something you would think, right?
You know, it's not something I would actively like go back to think about. And she just sort of puts things in perspective of why I'm feeling the way. At least she validates it, so I don't feel as... Because sometimes when you're impatient, you feel like an entitled little kid, right? Where you're like, why is this so fucking hard? I don't like waiting. Like, yeah. And then I have guilt about that, of course, where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be. I should just be grateful for like everything, you know? Wow. And it's this like fucked up cycle. And it's like, no, it's okay. You can be justified in it as long as you're processing it and not taking it out on anyone else. And so I just, that's probably where I need to work on a little bit, is like not taking it out somehow on TJ a little bit when I'm feeling impatient and frustrated. Yeah.
I need to work on that too. Like going back to what I said earlier is like, I was so pissed off about the full glass of wine at 3 a.m. that I just stormed out. I was like, I'm done. Like, I probably should have practiced a little more patience and like waited until the morning and had an adult conversation. Because also you can't get anywhere with someone who's drinking. Like, what's the point of fighting with a drunk person?
And nothing was going to happen at 3 a.m. to resolve. Yeah, of course.
I mean, we didn't talk. She just stayed out there and didn't come back to the bedroom. But patience would have been nice if I exercised patience there. Self-restraint. There's so many facets of patience, huh?
How are y'all doing with patience? Are y'all waiting for anything? Are you waiting like we are?
Are you
just waiting?
Do you need to go to the DMV with me? Keep me company online. I'll be there beyond my next day off.
Until we meet again, bud.
Be nice to yourself.
Don't forget.
Hangovers suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.